So talk to me a little bit about the CCIE routing and switching program. You guys made some changes to it, is that correct?
We did, actually. As a matter of fact, just 1 year ago, we changed from version 4 to version 5.
Okay.
And it dramatically changed, actually, from the format perspective and also the content perspective. So we added in the lab exam, we've added the diagnostic section, which is really something new for candidates and especially difficult to prepare for. It's definitely geared for those who have experience. It's not impossible to prepare for it, but it's definitely challenging, I would say, even more than the troubleshooting, but it's not impossible.
What do you think, what are some of the ways that someone would go about studying for that, preparing for it?
Yeah, well, I've kind of had a hard time trying to find a good way to do that, but I think something which might work is to document some, collect documentation when troubleshooting an issue and then forgetting about it and then getting back to the documentation a few weeks or few months afterwards, so we can be in the same situation where we don't have access to devices, but we are just stuck with documentation and resources, and we need to find a way to resolve the issue or identify the issue with just documentation and no access to devices, which is very much the stake of that portion of the exam. It's like a support engineer who does not have access to living devices and needs to just resolve an issue, or actually not really resolve the issue, but things that we are asking in the diagnostics are like what information is missing, who is in fault, or tell me what information, but those kind of questions, which is not exactly resolving an issue like the troubleshooting, for instance.
So are most of the changes between the last version of this in the troubleshooting areas?
Pretty much. Well, of course, as I mentioned in the content as well. So we have added DMVPN in the lab exam along with IPsec using pre-shared key. So it's like the vanilla setup for DMVPN, and that's kind of the biggest change or addition to the exam. Another big change for candidates is that we've removed, or actually we downgraded PFR from the lab exam to the written exam, so it's not going to be tested in the lab exam.
Okay.
Which is a big deal, I guess, for candidates.
Sure. So you do a lot of blogging on the CLN, is that correct?
A lot. I wouldn't say a lot.
No?
I wish I would do more, but
really?
Yeah. Well, I have just a couple of articles, and I have another one in mind. But it takes a long time, a lot of time, a lot of efforts, and I wish I could do more.
Okay.
But definitely, I would recommend candidates to read my blog, not because it's my blog, but because I think what I'm sharing there is a lot of hot topics for candidates, how to prepare, what points they need to pay attention to, like for instance the attention to the detail, time management. So essentially I'm discussing most of the preparation from a non-technical perspective.
Okay.
So building a strategy for the exam, like what kind of tactics do you need to think of, or what kind of things or features or attributes of the exam, design attributes like we call them, we can use, and they should better have in mind when building their own strategies and tactics. Like for instance, they can see all the questions when starting the exam, so likely they should take that as an advantage and cherry pick questions rather than just go sequentially one next and so on. So they should really realize that, and they should think about that before taking the exam. So the way I put it usually is just an analogy with the driving license. Mm-hmm. So did you really drive the same way when you took your driving test and you drive in real life?
Right.
I don't think you did. No. Same with the exam. So don't just go there just like doing performing like you do on the job. Of course, it's an exam, and of course you need to build your exam taking skills, and that's very, very important with an exam like a CCIE exam, especially the lab exam.
If students want to reach out to you, is the CLN the best way to reach you if they have questions?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, CLN is the place to be for the certification, so definitely they should reach out, and I'll be happy to help from there.
Awesome. Bruno, thank you for a couple minutes.
Well, thanks for the opportunity.
Cisco Live,
Folks.
Dave Major, Bruno Vanderwerf. See you.